They's letters spell out my name. Missy Ann showed me when we used to play school. And she showed me about reading and writing. That's a Kizzy. K-I-Z-Z-Y. Oh!
Don't you never do nothing like that again. No reading, no writing, never ever, you hear me? White folks know a nigga can read and write. They see to it that nigga be worse than whipped. That nigga be sold.
Shalom, good evening, greetings, and welcome once again. This is Imune Yisrael Solonomics 101. I wanted to make a quick video. Starting on January the 1st, we're going to have an interesting project coming up, and that is Lift Every Voice, the Lev project, having to do with reading the narratives of our recent ancestors who passed away during the transatlantic slave trade, as well as the institution known as slavery here in the Americas, and that's inclusive of North America, the Caribbean, South America. Why this is important to me is because, you know, people sometimes wait till 1 month in the year to take a look at this, but starting in this Gregorian calendar new year, I wanted to take a look at what are some of the things that were left on record, basically, and some of the things that go undetected often because it's not the famous or the well-known, and why just reading collectively. And if anybody wants to participate, definitely reach out. We're going to read, at first I said 1, but I said 2 chapters a day. We're going to start on January 1st, and I'll come back with another video as to why January 1st is important as we're talking about these narratives. But I want to also talk about right now why this is like very revolutionary. 150 years later, almost 200 years after what I'm about to read in one particular state was passed, this is a revolutionary act. So as the children of ex-slaves, this is revolutionary. This project definitely, and all of the things that we're doing going forward and have done up until this point. Now, this is an act passed by the General Assembly of the State of North Carolina at the session of 1830 to 1831. And it says Raleigh, 1831. My computer just went out here. It says here, an act to prevent all persons from teaching slaves to read or write, the use of figures excepted. Whereas the teaching of slaves to read and write has a tendency to excite dissatisfaction in their minds and to produce insurrection and rebellion to the manifest injury of the citizens of this state. Therefore, be it enacted by the General Assembly of the State of North Carolina, and it is hereby enacted by the authority of the same, that any free person who shall hereafter teach or attempt to teach any slave within the state to read or write, the use of figures excepted, or shall give or sell to such slave or slaves any book or pamphlets, shall be liable to indictment in any court of record in this state, having jurisdiction thereof, and upon conviction shall at the discretion of the court, if a white man or woman, be fined not less than $100, nor more than $200, or imprisoned. If a free person of color shall be fined, imprisoned, or whipped at the discretion of the court, not exceeding 39 lashes, nor less than 20 lashes. Number 2, be it further enacted that if any slave shall hereafter teach or attempt to teach any other slave to read or write, the use of figures excepted, he or she may be carried before any justice of the peace, and on conviction thereof shall be sentenced to receive 39 lashes on his or her bare back. Point number 3, be it further enacted that judges of the superior courts and the justices of the county courts shall give this act in charge to the grand juries of their respective counties. This is North Carolina at the session 1830 to 1831 in Raleigh. This is when this was passed less than 200 years ago. This was passed. We have more to come. I got this from a website, History is a Weapon. Slaves are prohibited to read and write by law. And this was for North Carolina, each state. And let me just go over briefly what we just read here. they were making it on the books that anyone, if there was a white man, so-called white man or woman, taught someone to read, a slave to read, not just anyone, a slave, then they will be fined. Let's see here. Who shall hereafter attempt to teach any slave in the state to read, right? It says they'll be liable to go before the court, and at the discretion of the court, if it was a man or a woman, European, they will be fined no less than $100 and no more than $200, or they'll be in prison. So, like I caught you teaching such and such, I'm saying it's going to be no less than 100, so be between $100 and $200, or they just lock you behind up. But if it's a free person of color, meaning that you're not a slave, it says that person shall be fined, imprisoned, or whipped at the discretion of the court, not exceeding 39 lashes, no less than 20 lashes. This was in 1830 that this law was passed. Once again, if you haven't signed up for Lift Every Voice, the Lev Project, reading of the narratives of our foreparents, we're going to start off with 50 years and change. So we're asking for readers. And also we're going to later on, after we finish that book, we're going to go into Harriet Jacobs' book. And these things are also available for free online. We're going to go to Harriet Jacobs' book, Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl. So definitely, I just wanted to share that. I'll be back to share some more interesting little tidbits as we go along the way here. So until next time, my name is Imuna Yisrael. This has been Solonomics 101. Definitely inbox me if you have any questions or comments. Shalom. 1.